Well, I got this scar when I was preparing lunch for praise and worship team. Um, how many years ago? Maybe 10 years ago? 10. Yeah, could be. Yeah, like a number of years ago. And it was steam. It was a burn from steam. You know the way you open the lid? It was a very big cooking pot. And the steam just hit my hand. And that's how I got this scar. And I didn't notice it until I came to America. Like I wasn't cognizant of it. I knew it was there, but it was not pronounced like the way it's pronounced now. And also my videos have made me like see it a lot. Yeah, scars, just as. Hello everybody and welcome to the School of Life with Sonny, where we talk about all things, everything and everything. Why learn from your own experience if you can learn from other people's experiences? And I'm here to give you as many experiences as I can. And today I'm going to be going into part 4 of my coming to America journey. And I believe this is going to be the last part for this season. Oh my God, my story is so long, I cannot complete it. But the purpose for this story this season is to impart your faith, is to help you believe in the in the impossible, is to help you perceive it, believe it, so that you can receive it, for you to know that there is nothing that is impossible. There is nothing that is impossible. All things are possible. So, I think the last time I had said that I came in America in 2019, the year that I wasn't sure I wanted to come. Oh my days, that was the most confusing year. I said I have had two very significantly two very confusing moments. So I'm going to tell you about the other moment before I'm done with this recording, like in my entire life. 2019, well, I was so confused. Should I go or should I not go? So I came. This is a recap I'm doing. So I came to America that year in 2019, and again we sang, and I went back home and I said I kind of forgot about the application for scholarship because I wasn't interested in school. The only reason why I had come to Illinois that time was my greatest interest was publishing a book. So I come back home and pain drives me to now look for a scholarship. I'm like, I need to get out of this place. I need a way of escape. So I write, I do my application, and then the results come in May 2020, right? In March, sorry, not May, but in March. When I receive I look at it, the regret, the apology, I look at it, and for some reason, there's a way I box things when I'm going through something, when something is so difficult. I don't break down, I don't start crying. I shut it and I put it in a box. That's how I've handled things for a very long time. Things that are denials, I don't sit and cry. And I did the same. So I just I looked at it, I read it, and I won't read it again. I just confirm, okay, fine, it's a regret. I shut it and I don't talk. I keep quiet. So I snap back very fast. I know it's a defense mechanism. I don't want to dwell in that. That's how I deal with it. It's a way of coping with stuff. I think it's a defense mechanism, which I'm going to tell you about one day. I'm going to talk about different defense mechanisms, and that is one of them for me. Blocking, just parking it there. So I decide now. I'm gonna say the real reason why I was applying for scholarship. And so I tell my significant other, by the way, I didn't get the scholarship, yeah, sad. But I didn't tell him, I wasn't actually applying for scholarship because I really wanted to go to school. I tell the truth. I say the truth. I wanted to get out of here. I wanted a way of escape. I wanted to run away because I had decided I'm not going to leave this home anymore. I am not living again. I didn't have the bandwidth to do that. I could not do that anymore. after the last time I had left for 2 months, when I came back, I decided, you know what, I'm never ever gonna leave again. I'm gonna die. Like, if it means dying, I'm going to die. So I said I wasn't going to apply for school because I really wanted to go to school, but I wanted to just go. Can we just work on this? Can we do? And I did what I did. So I started thinking about my next. So now my whole life, I mean, I was so focused on coming here to study, yeah, but now this is a miss again. So what do? I decided, I'm gonna take I'm gonna go into prayer, and I did my 3-day fast again, and I asked God, like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Then I thought of starting an Uber business. Then COVID was like starting. And then something else happened again about with a business. Someone else again close to me. I told them about the Uber business, and I told them the person I had talked to about the Uber business, and they went to talk to the same person. That person knows, and I was like, you know what? There's no tussle. So I'm just going to step back. So I went and I decided, you know what? I felt led to start like an office. I decided because I had already taken a loan for the Uber. So I said, with this Uber money, with this Uber loan, I'm going to start or establish my business. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to focus all my energies into creating a business, because if I get out of the house, if I start building an empire, as opposed to like what I was doing wasn't like, it wasn't promising, because running an NGO, you're not gonna get money, and depending on books that, I mean, or talks that don't, it was like not, there was no assurance of getting money. But then I decided I am now going to monetize my gifts, because that is something that I had not done in a long time. So this season, I decided, you know what, I'm going to establish my business. I'm going to now start monetizing my gifts. I'm going to start monetizing my training and my speaking and everything else that I do. I am now going to be like very, very intentional on monetizing. So I set up Aquila Life Training, the School of Life, and I start in April. I set up the office. I furnished it beautiful office, and I was so fulfilled. So I start my office, and I was not aware that that was April, May, June, July, August. So August, I wasn't aware that my marriage was gonna end in that August. So August 30th, I'm in this office, and then I woke up as someone's wife, and by the evening, I kind of didn't have a home to go to. Oh, I got a shock in August 30th. Yo, my God, my life like just took a switch. Like a complete turn, like within a day. So I was in the middle of doing a class, an inner healing class, and I had graduation that Saturday. So August 30th is when things go the way they go. Then on that weekend, I had a class. I had a graduation, and my friend was coming. My inner circle friend was coming, and I hadn't told her what was happening. So she comes, and she doesn't know she doesn't know that I'm actually putting up at my friend's house. When she comes, I go get a mattress, and we sleep in that office. So I remember that night, that 5th September, my praying mom calls me. And they were praying for me. I mean, you guys, I was going through so much, and it's a lot emotionally and a lot spiritually. So she says, someone wants to talk to you, and I said, okay, this person. So this is when I even tell her, like, I'm here in the office, and she says someone has a message for you. So this lady calls me. It's a conference call, and I'm also with my friend Jambi. So I'm with my friend, and so this person calls and says, hi Sonny, I've never talked to her. This is the first time I'm talking to her. And she says, do you understand Kikuyu? And I said, yes, I do. And so she tells me, I'm going to talk to you in Kikuyu because I want you to hear what I'm saying. I said, okay. And she says, now, your life is in danger. I said, I know. The truth is, I know. She said, God wants you to come to America. She says, God wants you to come to America. That's how she starts. God wants you to come to America. And I'm like, that's a joke. Like, no, I'm not coming to America. I cannot come to America. I cannot leave my children. And she says, God wants you to come to America. And she said, you know, your life is in danger. I know, definitely, 100%. I mean, I knew that from a long time ago. A long time ago, like, I knew that. And I had told my friends, if anything ever happened to me, this and this and this person should be asked. I knew, 100% I knew. And so I knew what she was talking about. And she says, you know, your life is in danger. I said, yes, I know. And I'm crying and I'm hysterical. And she says, God wants you to come to America. And I said, I'm not coming to America. I cannot leave my children. And she says, no, your children are fine. Your children are going to be okay. And in God's time, he's going to bring your children. I said, no, I am not coming to America. The only way I can come to America is if I have my children. I'm not going to America. And I have a lot of work here in Kenya. I'm not going to America. And she said, okay, that's fine. I've given you the message. This is what I've been feeling. And I had said a long time ago, but I think it was not an opportune time, but this is what God is saying. I mean, there are very many preparations, like, there things are set for you if you want to come, but still, if you don't want to come, God is going to take care of you. She tells me that. And I said, okay, that's comforting. She says, still, if you want to stay there, that's fine. God is going to watch over you. God is going to protect you. But God's perfect will for you is he wants you to come to America. And I'm like, hey, I want to hear God's perfect will from me. I want him to tell me. I have not had that conviction. I haven't even had the need to to go to America like that time, like I had not. And not to stay, Then we are crying. I'm crying. And she says a lot of things. Then my praying mom calls me the following day and says, I want you to take all your documents from the office and I want you to take them to, I want you to move them from the office. And I'm like, okay, I pack them up and I do what I do with them. Then that day, now that's 6th, it's on a Sunday, a friend comes and tells me, we heard that you had applied for scholarship and you actually wanted to leave your marriage because you wanted to run away. You had even applied for scholarship. And she was just laughing and she was like, yeah, and of course, it's known that you are not going to get that scholarship. And I asked God, can you hear yourself being mocked? And I just turned it to God. I said, God, can you hear how you're being mocked? And I said, it's okay. If that's the case, then that's fine. So the following, in maybe 3 weeks, my office is broken into, and my documents are, not my documents. And when I go to the police station, the first thing they ask me, do you know anyone who would want to harm you? Do I know anyone who would want to harm me? Should I answer that question? So they come to the office. They're like, no, the way this office is broken is broken into it's not like theft, And as much as they had a few things had been taken, like the screen, that's for my projection. There are very many things that had been, like, you leave a printer there. A printer is portable. You leave calculators there. It was very interesting, and the way things had been pulled from my drawers and things thrown. It's like someone was looking for something, and that was the report from the police. And I have so many other people that I was with at the police station and I was with at the house when the police were coming to to look at it. And I said, I don't know anybody who would want to harm me. Yeah. So I was like, wow, if I had not removed my documents from that house, I don't know what would have happened. So I forget about going to America, and I don't think about it until now. My these girls are like, no, son, let's go to America. I again pick up myself very, very quickly. And long story. Long story. I don't wanna go into that story because this is not about that. So in August, September, October, I live with my friend. Then in November, I'm again going with some girls, some of my two friends from Scars to Stars. We're supposed to go to America for the conference, because it changed a bit because of the of COVID, so it didn't happen in May. So my friends are like, let's go to America. Let's go. Let the year not end without us doing this visit. And I'm like, I don't want to go. Then my sister is like, you come, you just come. Like the girls actually talk to my sister and they're like, we want to come. I mean, we want to come and we want to come with someone. Just like I mean, it was like a team. It was like teamwork, I would say. And I'm really, really grateful. I mean, I give them that, because I wouldn't have gone to America at that time. And I say that every good thing you do, it always comes back to you. I mean, that is a principle of life. Yeah. So I decide to now go. In November, I go to the States in November, and now while there, I decide, you know what, I'm going to reapply for the scholarship. So I had missed the 2020. So in December again, I start reapplying for my scholarship. And I said that before you get a scholarship, you have to get a school admission. So I start my admission process. It wasn't long because I had done the previous year. So like I had done a lot of other, like I didn't need to do the world evaluation. I keep saying evaluation, education. I didn't have to do the World Education Service evaluation. I didn't have to do all those things. So it was like very, really easy. It was just like doing a simple application. But lo and behold, when I do the application, I don't get in. I don't get I don't get a place, and they send me a regret. And I'm like, wait a minute. You gave me an admission the previous year. Like, why aren't you giving me an admission now? And when I read the letter, I'm like, I bring an attitude like I'm dealing with my mother. I just write, it is well. When I read the letter, I was like, it is well. I'm telling you, that's what I wrote. So I'm so embarrassed about that. I was like, yeah. And I finished and I sent it and I was done. Then I speak to the person that now brought me to the college. I love to call him my destiny helper. So I'm like, hey, I forward the email. I say, can you imagine I did an application and they send me a regret? And he tells me, ask them why. I'm like, no, I'm not going to ask them. Like, why should I ask them? They gave me the last time. Why aren't they giving me now? I'm not going to ask them. And he says, push. This is not about you. It's not about your pride. This is about your God-given assignment. This is about what God is doing. This is about faith. This is okay. A preacher, like a person of faith pushes me and tells me, you know what? Push, go for it. Right? Ask them, why aren't you giving me? How come you gave me last time and this time you're not giving me? And I'm like, oh my God, how do I eat my humble pie? I don't want to do that. But then I go and I write and I'm like, hey, no, I'm retracting. I'm retracting. Yeah. I'm like, okay, you gave me an admission the last time. Why aren't you giving me now? Like, what happened? No, I don't ask what happened. What happened? I'm like, how come I didn't get an admission this time? And the last time I got an admission, and then they give me a response. They tell me there were so many people like this year. You did not defer, because the last time I didn't defer. You didn't defer. So like there was, of course I wasn't priority. And I asked them again. So I now send my friend and I'm like, hey, this is the response. And he's like, ask them when can they give you a response. And I'm like, hey, I'm not used to this pushing. Then I write again and I said, like, when can I expect like you guys to tell me? Of course I'm not talking to them like that, you guys. It's a professional and an official conversation. So I'm like, okay, when do I expect to hear from you? Like, yeah. Instead of replying to that, I wake up like the following day and I find an admission letter. Yay! I find an admission letter. Of course, I'm so excited. So I now get to the next level. So it's now 1 week to the close of scholarships. So I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do now? I was not good enough to get an admission. How am I going to get a letter? If I wasn't good enough for an admission, how will I even get scholarship, And that was a bit discouraging. So I decide, okay, I'm just going to go for it. So I do my scholarship application again. It's not a lot of work because I had done like everything the last time. So my mission statement is not changing. My why I want to do my MA is not changing. Like nothing. A lot of things are not changing. Actually, the only thing that changed was what I had done between 2020 and 21. And the only thing I had done was Aquila Life Training, you people. I keep saying, and I think I'll say this for the rest of my life, that there is nothing that you do in this life that is vain. Everything has a place. Again, like that piece of a puzzle that looks so misplaced, looks like it's different. Like, when you look at it in isolation, it looks so strange. The shape, the color, the form, like it looks so different. Nothing in this life, there is nothing, especially when you're in your line of purpose, and when you know that I am more God's workmanship, and whatever I'm doing in accordance to what He created me to do. There is nothing that you do in this world that is vain. So the work that I had done that year is what I would say that was the only trick. There's nothing else that I had done. So I had that information, and I also had like some links to the videos that I was doing with young people. Like, when I had a lot of links that I was doing, I had a lot of videos that I was doing, all the Facebook videos I had done. I had done a lot of videos that season on narcissism. I put all of that there, and I said, this season I have just been educating people, and I put my links there. That was the only game changer. That is the only additional information that I had on my scholarship, and I sent. So the last time I received my I received my admission, no, my regret in March. It was on March 9th. And so I had found out like okay, after the committee sits down, they don't take long before they send you the the admission. So from 6th or from 5th, I again did my Esther fast, my 3-day fast. Let me tell you, I used to pray like I know who is going to be in that committee. So I know, I mean, in a committee, you have to have a chairperson, you have to have a secretary, you have to have a treasurer, you have to have like committee members. So I used to imagine that I'm praying for a boardroom. And so I used to pray like, oh my gosh, I used to pray like I'm talking to them. Like I would imagine I'm praying, I'm in it's a boardroom, and I would speak to the chairperson, the treasurer. I would pray, God, I pray that as my name is mentioned. I mean, I just did those declarations. I'm a Pentecostal. I did those declarations, and I was like, when my name comes up, may it stick on everyone's mind. When my work is right, may it stick. Like I did crazy declarations. I was like desperate. Now I was really desperate for this scholarship, for this scholarship, and I went. Like the Esther. Like the Esther fast, and why she fasted, like that kind of desperation, and I was asking God, let the scepter be extended to me. Like, what is impossible, let it be possible for me. I know, I mean, I might not have the right qualifications. I know there are very many people who are qualified, but let it be extended to me, not because I'm qualified, but because, God, you are God. And of course, I love to say, let your will be done, God. Above all, let your will be done. Because it's so scary to be where God does not want you to be. And praying that the will of God be done is one of the hardest prayer. Oh my God, I don't want to get excited. I'm already getting like so out of my topic, but I want to tell you that. Like I've found like praying that the will of God be done, I found it to be one of the hardest, most difficult prayer, because most of the times I want to tell God my will. I want to tell God, let your will be done, but this is what I want. God, let your will be done, but this is what I would prefer. But just telling God, let your will be done. Sometimes he appears like, God, do you really know what I want? Do you really know what is good for me? As much as I know you know what is good for me. Do you know that I want that thing in this season? Anyway, so I just pray like, God, let your will be done. So this is December. So in March, I received my scholarship. Excited, happy. But now I am in limbo. This is the other time I'm talking about, like the other confusing period of my life. Like it's like I was between a rock and a hard place. Yet it's a beautiful thing. I've never been this confused. We are at the heart and heat of COVID. Visas are not being given in Kenya. Travels, are almost impossible. What do I do now? I'm in America. I'm supposed to go back to get my my student visa and come here. And now, oh my God, I needed to make very, very wise decisions. So I of course I talk to every significant person in my life. I talk to my significant other. Oh my God, I got the scholarship, and this is what I'm thinking. And there were so many noises, you guys. There were so many noises. Come back to Kenya. Don't come back to Kenya. And I don't even remember anybody telling me come back to Kenya. It was all about being scared. Like, how are you gonna come back to Kenya and we don't have we don't have appointments. Even the people who are in Kenya and have very, very important businesses to do in America are not even getting a chance to go to the embassy, because the days were like, you were being given, like, if you have to attend to something in August, you would be given like an appointment in 2 years. I talked to my travel agent and we're like, let's look for dates. And I remember we got one in 966 days. And I was like, no way. So the lawyer tells me, so I engage a lawyer, and the lawyer tells me, you just stay here and let's process this paperwork here. And so I've decided. So I've talked to my significant other. Of course, my kids are home, and he's also in agreement. Okay, fine, you can do it from there. But I'm missing my kids. I want to go home. I wasn't prepared to come here and stay. I really want to go home, and that was my heart's desire. So I'm here now. It's that much. I've decided. Okay, I'm not going home. But you know what? I don't have peace. My heart is so troubled. And if you want to know how God speaks, in case you don't know, I know many Christians know that the Lord speaks with peace. When you make a decision and you have peace, you can sleep well, you're not feeling troubled, then you know the Lord is with you. Because the Lord speaks in peace and with peace. You have peace of God, and peace with God, you feel like you're calm. I was not. I was feeling like, no, this is not the right decision. So I'm supposed to come back home in May. Those people who know, like when you come to the port of entry, as much as you have a visa, maybe for 5 years, at the port of entry, most people are given 6 months. And you are not supposed to exceed your 6 months. You cannot go beyond your 6 months. If you go beyond your 6 months, that's it. So my 6 months were ending in May. So that May, I decide, so I have decided I'm not going home. But a few days, like 7 days to my coming home, I still have my ticket. I'm praying. Again, I do my fast. I do my Esther fast again for clarity, for direction, for just God to show me what to do. And I feel, go home. That is, so I've silenced every voice. I'm not talking to anybody about it. I'm not asking anybody. I'm not talking to the lawyer. I have silenced all the noises and all the voices around me. Now it's me and God. I am not my personal savior. Personal. It's me. It's me and him. He doesn't have to speak to everybody else so that they can talk to me and tell me. It's me and him. So I'm like, I now feel the conviction to go home. So the minute I make up my mind to go home, I settle, I get a lot of peace, and I decide I'm going home. So 5 days to my 6 months period, to the end of my 6 months period, I decide to go home. So this is 22nd of May. So I go home, and my visa is, I think my visa was going to be out, like the 6 month visa was going to be out in maybe on 27th. So I go home just a few days before, and I don't want to do that as well. If it's up to me, when I come here, I like the time I used to have like my 6 months visa, I never wanted to be here. Like even the 6th month, even like the 5th month, I didn't want to do that. So I go 5 days too. So when I get home, there are no visas. There are no visa appointments. I am aware. Even when I'm going, I made that decision knowing, but staying here was a risk. Because for me to get my student visa was going to be a process, and it also had to go through, through immigration here. And I was like, okay, that's a risk. Going back home is a risk. I was like, and I said risk and faith are the same. I'm like, if God can do this, he can still do this. but I'm not saying that for anybody else. You have to weigh a lot of things. For me, I wasn't prepared to stay because when I came from home, I wasn't coming to stay like until, I don't know, I go to school. So yeah, so that was when I was leaving home. My stay was supposed to be just a short stay. So I arrived on 22nd of May, and the most interesting thing that happened that day is when I get to Kenya. I arrived at 6:30 in the morning a.m. Then in 2 hours, around 8:39 a.m., I receive a call from the airport. Hey, Catherine, we have. Oh yeah, my name is Catherine. We have we have a document for you. And I'm thinking, did I leave anything at the airport? And someone asks like for my address, and they're like, okay, we have a document for you. And I give them my address, and they come. They bring me my a document from my school. It was my I-20. So I'm like, wow, how is this? Like, how God, your hand is like on all this, because I had not even figured that I could get my my I-20 that day. Then the other thing that happened was there's this lady I was helping in the States. Like we just happened to talk, and I told her that I had admission at school, and she was talking to me about the daughter and her trying to apply for a school here. And I was like, yeah, I got admission in a school. And she was like, are you able to help my daughter? Of course, I'm gonna help you. So I started talking to the daughter while I was here. So when I got to Kenya, the mom had already told her that Sonny is gonna get home on this day. So she was the first person to call me. So she calls me and she tells me, hey Sonny, I actually have an appointment for the embassy on this day. And I'm like, appointment? But the embassy doesn't have appointments. She tells me, no, you can actually get an appointment. I'm like, how did you do that? Then she tells me, and she shows me what to do. I go online, and we start looking for appointments together, and it was like really hope filling, it was so hopeful. I see a date for November. So my school starts in August, but I see a date for November the same year, and I'm like, oh, good enough. So I hold that date. So as we're talking and I'm looking, she tells me, oh my God, there's another day in May, but someone has taken it. And I'm like, yo girl, I'm the one who took it. So as we were doing that, I just looked and I saw, oh my God, there was an opening in May 26th. So that was 4 days after my arrival. And I'm like, I took it. And that was such a miracle. It was such a miracle. So the same day I arrived, it's like God had planned for me. So, now getting my documents was another story. I'll just say I had to use the police to go and get my documents, because I wasn't prepared for school. So I did not realize that I had left my school documents, in my previous home, and I had a warning not to go there. So I had to use the police to intervene and help me get my documents. So in the morning, the day I was going to the embassy, I had to pass by, because I was told, you cannot get them until this day at 7 a.m. So I had to pass by the house and take my documents. The police were waiting. Nobody knows that the police were waiting, but I was so scared. You guys, I was so scared, and nobody will ever understand my level of being scared. Nobody will ever understand. Yeah, no, my friends would understand that I could even have police wait for me because I was really, really scared. So so I go to the embassy, and wow, here comes the question that I was dreading. So, okay, what are you going to do? Of course, I say I'm going to study. What school? I say my school. And the third question, I'm asked, oh, I see you just came from America. How long were you in America for? And I said, I was there, 5 days short of my 6 months. And I was asked, so what were you doing there? And I said, I was writing and resting, and I was just taking a break. And there and then, they pull out a yellow paper. Yellow means we're not giving you, we are not denying you. Good enough. For me, I'm like, this is good enough to work with. Of course, that is not what I'm thinking at that time. I don't even know what that yellow paper is. And they tell me, okay. They underline a few things that they need me to do, and I come out with my yellow paper, So I go home, and now these were my my longest waiting days. Like, all my days. Talk about waiting. My school starts in August. I don't have a visa, and it's not a no. I'm supposed to start to continue with my trainings. My classes run for 6 weeks. Do I start a class? Am I going to interrupt a class? Am I getting the visa or not? Do I continue being in the office or not? Am I supposed to be folding up my stuff or not? Am I supposed to be talking to my children and telling them, hey, you know what, I'm gonna be gone for this short period, and this is the plan? I don't know. Like, I stayed in that waiting period and season and confused for so many days, 10, 20, 30, 50, 60. On the 67th day, no, hold up, before my 67th day, you know what, I used to write the embassy emails. I would write them emails. I would ask them, like, what's happening? And I'll just get like the auto reply, like, we are still processing, we're still doing them. Then one day I decided, you know what? I'm gonna tell you a bit about myself. So I wrote to them and I said, I introduced myself. And I said, my name is the name I was using then. And this is what I do. And this is what I have done. And this is I have helped people go through school. And now I have a chance to go to school. And I am asking, like, that, for you to help me, because I don't want to lose this opportunity. The violent shall take it by force. If God has given me this, I don't see why a process should stop me, or why a process should deny me, like, that chance that God has given me. Of course, I left it in their hands. Then 2 days too. So my school was supposed to start on 18th of August. On 16th, the embassy calls. But I love the embassy. I had such a beautiful, beautiful experience with them. Like, after my 67 days, and even in the 67 days, I used to appreciate that. That they would, like, respond, whether it's outer or I really used to appreciate their response. So they call, and one mistake I had done, a beautiful mistake, like, today when I think about it, or then when I thought about it, I was like, wow, what a beautiful mistake. So I had given my the number of my significant other, and not mine, because our numbers were, like, the same. So we had the same numbers. The only difference was the last 2 digits, which were like just swapping the two last numbers. They were exactly the same. For instance, say mine was 32, his was 23. So it was just switching the two numbers. And so I had given his number. So the person who is being called to give me the message is him. Like, so he calls me and says, the embassy called and said, the embassy has called and they say that you go to America today. And that was the message. And I'm like, what? And done. So I'm like, what? What do you mean? What am I going? Then I call him and I'm like, please give me the number that called you. And I get the number and I try to call, I can't get through. I decide, you know what, I'm gonna go to the embassy. So I go to the embassy, and I'm like, I go to the embassy, I go to the gate, I'm like, I've been told to go to America today. My passport is here. My visa, I've been told to come for my visa, but I don't want to go to America today. I can't go to America today. I need my COVID. I need my COVID vaccine. I need to get ready. I cannot go. But I hope to remember that point. I had, like, 3 days before, talk about faith, 3 days before, I had gone to my daughter's school. And I had told her, kwaheri. Mommy, I might be going to America because my school starts on 18th. And I'm just coming because I'm not sure I'm going to get the visa. I'm there. I'm in limbo. So I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, but I'm just coming to tell you in case. And we do a good goodbye. Like, I'm like, done. In case I go, this is the final goodbye for this season. So when I go to the at the gate, they allow me to get in. So they make calls and they said, okay, just let her in. So I go in and at the counter, the lady tells me, you know what? We have your visa. Here is your visa. And your reporting day is 18th. This is what the system says. If you go past 18th, you are going to, you're not going to be allowed, and we do not want that to happen. And I mean, honestly, I really appreciated, like everything they did to ensure that that transition for me was easy. And she held my passport and she told me, here is your passport and here is your visa, but I'm going to keep it here. And she put it on the desk. So I'm not going to give you because I do not want you to go. It's like she didn't trust. She thought when she gives me, I'm going to go. She told me, go call your school, tell them to change your date so that it can change in the system. If they can give you a different date for starting, then that's fine. So I go out, I call my school immediately. Like the lady's like, oh, this season, I know a lot of international students call, so I'm always like on call. And I tell her, I need you to change the date for me. The actual class was starting on 18th, but 18th was from 18th was orientation and a lot of like pre-planning. So I said, okay, I can, like, she says 21st is when the classes start. So I say, okay, let's have it for 21st. So I have it for 21st, and again the embassy calls. I'm laughing because they called again. You guys, I'm very poor with my phone, so I wasn't picking up my calls. So this time they call and they call my friend. They call my friend. My friend is in Meru. So they call because I had put her as the other person. That, I mean, in case you don't find me, this is a person you can call. In case of, yeah. So they call my friend, and my friend calls me all the way from Meru, and she's like, the embassy is looking for you all the way. Like, they've called Meru because I'm like, if you know me, I'm poor with my phone. Like, oh my God, you can call me the entire day. I'm not the person you call when you're in trouble, because I don't pick my calls. Like, yeah. So, so they call, and I eventually go for my visa, and I have just like 2 days to prepare, because of course the travel is kind of, is it two days, like, almost 2 days. So I come to America. So you can imagine, I'm not prepared. I don't have a house. I don't have a home. I don't know where I'm going to stay. I don't know a lot of things. All I know is that I want to learn in Chicago. All I know is that I want to be in O'Hare. All I know is I just want to be in school. I want to be here. And I have not thought of very, very many things. I have a lot to tell you. How I picked it up from there, how God ordained people, and how again God marked all my steps from not having a place to stay. I remember I call her my praying mom. My praying mom called me. No, oh my God, that's a whole story. I can't even start now. I'm gonna tell you one. I mean, at one point I'll tell you. And she's like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, because she took me to the airport. She happened to be here in Kenya. I mean, oh my God, that's a story that I'll tell you one time, because I think God wanted me to have a serious backing, because I actually went with her to pick my visa, and she took me to the airport with her daughter, my dada. She took me to the airport. Like, how she happened to come here a day before from the States, a day before my leaving. It was just like so amazing, like, oh my God. I just, when I think about this season and everything that God did and how he did it, I just know God loves me. I feel like crying. Why? Oh, I just know that God loves me, and how he made all these things work the way they did. I know that God really loves me. So what did I learn in this whole season? What have I learned in this whole process? What have I learned in my coming to America journey? And in this, in part 4, because I think I've shared a bit of the lessons that I learned earlier. But what I learned, number 1, is that waiting is not a no. Never give up when you're in your waiting season. And if I told you what I did in my waiting season, I mean, the very many things that I did in my waiting season, wow, oh my God. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. How is it that your strength is renewed while you're waiting? And waiting is supposed, if waiting was rest, if waiting was just sitting, why is your strength being renewed? I mean, if waiting is resting, why are you running and not fainting? Why are you, I mean, you understand? Why are you running and not growing weary if waiting was just sitting? So waiting is not sitting. While you're waiting, like waiting, it's the waiting for the waiters. You know the way the waiters wait on you? It's not waiting. They're waiting while I'm serving. They're waiting while I'm doing things. They're waiting while I'm busy, occupied, but I'm waiting. So I learned that waiting on God has a reward. And waiting is good. Waiting is good. And even when you're praying and you have a wait, it's not a no, it's not a yes, it's a wait, I learned a lot about waiting. I also learned a lot about watching our words in this whole season. Like I know when people come from the embassy, and I understand that very, very well. Many people have told me, I'll never come back here. I don't even want to go to America or to Canada or wherever. Watch out your words. Like, words are powerful. I think I've said that again. Watch out your words. Speak life. Say, okay, fine, I'm not gonna come here. But place a demand on your faith. Say, okay, fine, I'm not gonna go to America. I'm not interested. Not everyone is interested in coming to America. Not everyone is interested in going to Canada or wherever. But just say, I'm not gonna come here again. But when my daughter comes, when my son comes, when my nephew comes, they're gonna get their visa. So place a demand on your faith and just watch your words. Then learn to silence the voices and the noises around you. Don't be that person who keeps asking everybody, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? When I know we have those times when you're very confused. When you're in that season of confusion, like, I want to make a decision and I don't know which way to turn. Now, settle. Quiet. Be still. Know that He is God. Be still. Inquire of the Lord. David says that. Inquire of the Lord. When there's so much noise going on, He is your personal person. Inquire of Him. Now ask Him, God, now show me the direction. If you need to go in prayer and ask Him, God, show me the direction. Yeah. And let your pain push you. Let your pain push you to success. With every shovel, remember the story of the donkey? With each shovel, let it help you, like, rise up. With each dirt, whatever kind of dirt it could be discouragement, it could be hopelessness and helplessness. Don't let it weigh you down. Just keep rising. Yeah, with each shovel, keep rising. So keep it locked. I don't know how to finish. Oh my God, I'm so tired. My feet, my leg. We're done with coming to America. Look out for my next series. God bless you. God be with you. May God lead you. May God order your steps, ordain your steps. Keep it locked. Keep it locked. Check out. Silence the noise in my mind, Lord, and open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Silence the noise in my heart. Silence the noise. Silence the noise in my mind, Lord, and open the eyes of my heart. I don't know what that lady, this is a song that this lady has been singing. Is it silence the voice or silence the noise? I might be wrong. And he says, silence the noise in my mind, Lord, and open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Woo. Silence the voice in my mind, Lord. Nice. Silence the noise in my mind, Lord. I'm not sure. Check it out. Check it out.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, and it's just